I think that it's really ironic to see the Star Wars community, or at least the vocal one online, and just see how angry they get when they don't get their way, or when LEGO doesn't do something that they want, or even if they do something that they want, it's still not enough for them.
Really thought they were going to make an improvement here. You know, they're touting all the time how only the best is good enough. How could I think a company that is supposed to be so great, only the best is good enough? Yeah, very cool, LEGO. Very, very cool. The best company in the world, only the best is good enough. This is LEGO. Reuse, reduce, recycle. And that's kind of the name of the game for them. They'll go out and tell you only the best is good enough, and then they'll do something like this.
Summer 2021 LEGO Star Wars sets can really be summed up in one great quote.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I think that it's really crazy that after the abuse that team has gotten from online, what has the DC community done to really deserve any of this?
Stop complaining about LEGO Star Wars. Ironically, today I have a complaint video surrounding people complaining and why that's bad. Now, I know that's a bit hypocritical, but I think you need to hear me out on this. This is something that's bothered me for a while, and I think I finally need to talk about it. I saw Ash and Flash briefly discuss it in one of his videos, which you will have seen at the start there, and I decided that I just needed to get this video out there. And this is basically just a video, if you couldn't tell already, about people complaining about LEGO Star Wars, and when it's one of the best themes, why do people hate it so much? And don't get me wrong, before I go into this, I don't have anything against the people here. I'm not gonna credit them in the description, link them down below or anything, just because if you don't know who they are, then don't go find them. But, you know, you probably know them, you probably know some people I'm talking about, but it's just people who complain a lot about LEGO Star Wars, and it's very interesting that one of the best themes obviously gets the most hate, and a recent example of this that I can think of is with the UCS Republic gunship. And while I don't think anyone will argue that the build is bad, the biggest problem for a lot of people here are the minifigures, and this really bothered me for some reason, because people voted for the set, not the minifigures. And no, people are going to comment down below that people did vote for the minifigures, but the truth is, you don't know what minifigures people voted for. They're not going to reveal that. The thing is, people could have just said a Jedi and clone, people who aren't as caught up in the LEGO community. Maybe they're just a LEGO fan and not a Star Wars fan. They see a LEGO Ideas vote, they're like, oh, that ship looks cool, what's a minifigure? Oh, yeah, I have a basic understanding of Star Wars, let's say. Not trying to offend anyone who is, just giving an example here, but they could just be like, oh, a Jedi and a clone would fit quite well, so I'm going to vote for that. Maybe people wanted a Mace Windu and a clone commander, I don't know. I don't think people actually voted for that in particular, and I get why why people may be angry at LEGO for doing this, but at the end of the day, a UCS set is about the minifigures, and people should be able to look past it. And I don't get why it's such a big deal. To a lot of these people, the minifigures make up the set, which I get for other sets. Like play sets, if it's a $30 playset, let's say, minifigures are great. I think that for instance, the Mandalorian Forge, without the minifigures, a lot of people probably wouldn't buy it. But for a UCS set, at the end of the day, you are buying it for the build. And I think for sets like the UCS Y-Wing or A-Wing, people weren't looking at the pilot thinking, wow, I need this pilot, so I'm going to pay $200 for it. So, yeah, I think you get what I'm saying. You're probably still going to comment, but MBS is a whole nother story. You can't really compare figures in a UCS gunship to figures in the MBS Mos Eisley Cantina, because they're entirely different kinds of sets. One's oriented for play, one's for display. And sure, MBS is kind of for display too, but the main focus is obviously play. So, yeah, that's one of my complaints about the gunship. I think I have a bit more, but another thing that kind of bothered me is with the summer sets. Now, people have been wanting waves not based on the original trilogy so much. People are getting kind of sick of it, and they got away for the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian and even the Bad Batch, which are very popular shows right now, and people, I think, overall have been pretty happy. There have been a few complaints about sets, like the Bad Batch shuttle being bad and whatever, and sure, people are allowed to complain, don't get me wrong, but it gets a bit over-excessive. I think with the Summer Wave it was handled decently, but things like the Republic gunship had a bit too much hype, and I think that's why people complained about it. It's overall disappointment which causes this. And whether you always get hyped, I think I always make videos hyping up these sets, and sure, I will speculate a lot about what can come, and I'm usually very optimistic about it, usually go for best case scenario, sometimes I go for worst case, but overall I think I'm very positive towards LEGO Star Wars, and that might actually have a cause in people complaining about it, in kind of the opposite effect. I think if people get too hyped up for something that's coming, they'll just get disappointed when it actually comes. And that's why I'm thinking of maybe slowing a bit down on the 2022 predictions. I'll only post a video. I kind of started a series, so I think I'll complete that. And yeah, I can blame myself a bit, but I think there are people who are taking this a bit too much. And no, I'm not here to make the argument that it's just a kid's toy, because, well, it's not to a lot of people, including me. But yeah, it's just stop complaining, honestly. LEGO Star Wars is one of the most popular themes with one of the best treatments. If you look at the Marvel Daily Bugle set, half of the figures don't have leg printing, and people, they're not really complaining. They're happy that 4 out of 20 or so have leg printing. And that's pretty insane when you compare it to LEGO Star Wars. I think a lot of people complained about, for instance, Grief Karga having no leg printing in the Razor Crest, and I myself was even a bit disappointed by that. But I think it's just that LEGO Star Wars has so much expectations behind it, such a big fan base, that people are definitely going to get disappointed sometimes. And yeah, as much as I tell you to stop complaining, you're still going to, and that's the fact. I hope that this video kind of makes you stop complaining just a bit. And I think the point of this is just to look at what we have, and it's great. And we shouldn't look at the negatives of it, just look at how positive this theme has been. With over 800 sets, that's insane. It's gone for nearly 25 years. That's better than any other LEGO theme, basically. So, it's great. I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record at this point about stop complaining, maybe not as much as only the best is good enough. I'm getting sick of that, honestly. But just wrapping things up, look at the positives of this. It's incredible, and stop focusing on the negatives, because this is such a great theme. However, yeah, don't go bully these people. They're pretty cool people, honestly, no matter how much they complain. But yeah, that'll be all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. That'll be all, folks. Goodbye.